You're listening to episode 20 of the Afros and Pixie Dust podcast, DCP with Alexa. Hey, Diz friends. Welcome to episode 20 of the Afros and Pixie Dust podcast. I am your host, June. So, if you follow me on Instagram, and why aren't you if you're not? Hello. I posted that I made the leap and attempted to watch Mary Poppins. Many of you asked how that went, and it was an epic fail. Mainly because I fell asleep maybe about 20 minutes in. It is partly the fault of Mary Poppins and partly my own. I had been up for a ridiculous amount of time, and so it was inevitable that I was going to doze off. However, I have made the commitment, and when I say I'm going to do something, I like to keep my word. So I will be watching it again, and just so you all can hold me to it, I plan to give a full review of my thoughts on the original Mary Poppins, and I will likely post that either on the YouTube channel or on IGTV or both. So stay tuned for that. You heard it here, so now I have to do it. I will watch it, I promise. And if there's any cheat codes to the best way to watch it, the context to watch it in, I am all ears. All ears. Please help me. But moving on. The D23 Expo is next week, y'all. We are so close. They have been sending out badges this week. I got mine for me and my crew. We're all excited. We're activated. We're ready to hit the ground running. And I don't even know what to expect. I can't not wait for this experience. And I can't wait to meet some of you at the expo. And if you haven't already, go ahead and RSVP for this meetup. There is still time, and I will give more details about the meetup after today's interview. We have come to episode 20, and I am beside myself. And so I just want to say thank you all for listening, all the new listeners, all the listeners that were here from day one, the people that encouraged me to do this podcast even before there was a concept. I want to say thank you all, and I will continue to do the work as long as you are interested in hearing what I have to say. And it is very apropos for our 20th episode to feature a 20-year-old. This week's guest is Alexa. She is from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and is a student at Xavier University in New Orleans, Louisiana. She is a recent alumni of the Disney College Program, aka the DCP. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it is an internship program that is run by the Walt Disney Company, where college students get to participate in a semester-long paid internship program while working at the Walt Disney World Resort or the Disneyland Resort. Alexa just completed her semester this past spring, and she documented her experience via her vlog and on Instagram, where I came to find her account and fell in love with her refreshingly sharp humor. Is right up my alley. She is a true rarity. She is one of the few, dare I say the only people I know who not even likes, who loves the Carousel of Progress. Y'all got to take that up with her. And without further ado, let's get into my conversation with Alexa. Hello, Alexa. Welcome to the show.
Hi! Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. I listen all the time, so this is a big deal.
I found you randomly on Instagram, and I felt your soul through your pictures. I was like, this girl is adorable, and I have to talk to her.
Oh, thank you.
Let's start off with you telling us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, again, my name is Alexa. I'm currently at the very young age of 20. I'm going into my junior year of college. I attend the Xavier University of Louisiana in New Orleans. I love my HBCU. And I'm a political science major with a mass communications minor.
Okay, so you fixing to get into some politics?
Originally I was, but now I think I'm leaning more towards social media management.
Okay, I feel ya. Yeah, it's kind of rough out there right now.
Exactly.
Hoping for change, but we'll see. It ebbs and flows. It is what it is. So, when did your love of Disney first start?
Well, I definitely have to say my love of Disney, like their movies, definitely started when I was younger. I would spend a lot of time with my great aunt, and we would watch the Aristocats over and over and over again because my mother's side of the family is originally from Haiti, so like there's that French influence in Haitian culture, and of course like the Aristocats had it. So like we would just sing the songs in English and French. So then I became really in love with it then. And then I really have to say what got me super engaged with Disney would have to be um, sometime I think around either sixth or fifth grade. I stumbled upon POV videos of Disney rides, and I was like, oh my goodness, I totally completely forgot about Disney World. And then ever since that, I became obsessed, and then ended up going to Disney World like later that year.
Okay. So we're have been a little bit of an age gap between the two of us. So YouTube, I'm assuming YouTube was a thing for you growing up to watch other people
Yes.
experience it. Okay,
Yes.
that's cool. That's cool. I'm glad progression. I see that with my daughter now. She enjoys watching videos, and I guess it's just a part of life now. Um,
Yes, it's so weird, like just watching someone do other. I don't know. It's really weird. Like the more I think about it, like there's kids who watch other kids open up toys online, and they somehow find that entertaining. But then at the same time, I'm kind of doing that, watching people go to Disney World. So I
right.
have no place to judge.
I know, but I guess it's like a very extended review. It's like, do I really want this
Exactly.
story? And then at the end of the day, it's kind of economical because now I don't have to buy
Exactly.
the toys. They can just watch other kids play with the toys and they can learn whether or not they was even worth buying and we can move
Exactly.
on.
Exactly. It's a
And same thing with
win-win.
the rides. Like when you go to the parks, you know which rides you want to do, which ones you don't. And there you go. So
Exactly.
it's for research. We'll just say
Spot
that.
on. Spot on.
So, what would you say is your favorite Disney movie or show?
Definitely favorite Disney movie. Oh, this one's hard. Okay, so I'm more of a Pixar fan than I am of like classic Disney movies. But I mean, even this isn't really considered classic. I'm a huge fan of Hercules just because of the muses. I mean, everyone loves the muses. They went really hard with their vocals, and I just always have just loved that movie. But I enjoy crying a lot. So any movie that can really make me cry, that's why I always lean towards Pixar. So things like
Oh,
Go. I just need to have a good cry. So those two have definitely been like my top two.
okay. Nothing wrong with the good cry. It's very cleansing,
Exactly. It's
very
therapeutic.
therapeutic. More people need to cry, actually, or just
And
like
that's what
release their emotions.
exactly that's what Disney movies are there for. If you just don't feel like crying at your real life, you just pop on the Princess and the Frog and you sob for a few hours.
Exactly. Channeling. So, are there any characters that you feel like you identify with?
Yes, for the longest time, I actually would probably have to say Tiana. I used to do like those little tests that would be like, oh, which Disney princess are you the most like? And I would always get Tiana, and I thought it was like the FBI hacking into my computer and realizing I was black. But then I recently went back and watched the movie, and I was like, okay, I see it. So I definitely recently have found like a new appreciation for Tiana. So I definitely would have to say Tiana.
Okay, cool. No judgments. And it's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with identifying with Tiana.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, that movie even helped me decide where I ended up going to college in the long run. So
You
it
hear
really.
that, Disney? You hear? Representation matters. It matters, right?
Exactly. Yes, it
Oh,
really does.
I mean, it's true. Like, case in point. So,
Exactly.
how would you say you like to express your fandom?
I am a child of the internet, so I definitely will have to say through social media, especially things like I use my YouTube channel a lot or my Instagram. Both of those, I really much express my uh, love of Disney through both of those. And then of course crying at their movies. So definitely those three, because not everyone can always afford going to the parks all the time, and I was never one of those kids who grew up with like, oh, we're my family's annual pass holders and we go every week, every summer. So I really have gone to Disney in like large gaps of periods of my life. The first time I went I was 3, and the next time I didn't go until I was 13 or 12. So
Yeah,
just more like experiencing it through things again like YouTube, or just like seeing other people do it and living vicariously through them.
right. And it's true. Like, not everyone can go every year. And I never went until my first trip, I was 20, 20 something. I was older than you. My first trip. And, and here we are now. I caught the bug late, but um, yeah, not everyone goes as a kid, and sometimes it's someone's dream to go, and sometimes, there's other ways to show your Disney side, even if you've never been to a park. It's not necessarily a mandate or something
Exactly.
mandatory for you to enjoy everything that Disney has. I mean, it's fun, it's great icing on the cake, but there's lots of other
Exactly.
ways to
And I
enjoy
feel like,
them.
and I even feel like going to the parks every few years kind of enhances the experience, just because they change a lot of things. So then each visit's going to be different each time.
Right, right. And when you do kind of space it out, it makes you more excited because sometimes you're like, oh, we're going again this year. I mean, I never feel that way, to be
No,
honest. But
same.
sometimes you kind of just want to switch it up a little bit. And so
Exactly.
you gotta, I think there's nothing wrong with spreading it out. And
Exactly.
and Disney understands that, and they want to entice you to come back, so they want to keep switching it up so that you can have a new, fresh, unique experience every time you go. So
Very true. I just wish they would lower these ticket prices so I can go more often.
it ain't happening. They gotta fund their ventures, and they know people are gonna pay.
Oh, and I'm one of those people. I will shamelessly admit that.
Yeah, yeah, I'm saving my coins up. And
Same.
it is what it is, you strategize
Exactly.
and you make it happen. But yeah, I mean, I wish that they would have some kind of sliding scale. I know they have something for like people in the army and veterans, but I wish they would kind of have some kind of sliding scale because I think everyone deserves to at least experience that magic once.
Exactly.
Um, and
And then,
so,
like, residents of whatever state it's in typically do also get their discount. Because I know there's a Florida um, residence discount for annual passes and also for day tickets as well.
right, but we can't all move to Florida. I mean, we probably should all
Right.
move to Florida and vote. We probably should do that, but we can't all move to Florida. So,
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, I think it's a great idea for them to do that, especially because, they're getting such breaks because of them being in their respective states. Um, but I think, I'm sure, I hope they will come up with something in the near future, something of some sort where you can apply to something or a giveaway or something, I think would be really nice.
Hey, that would be nice.
Yeah. Maybe. We'll see. I feel like Disney's listening, so you heard what we said. Get to work, and if you need some advice, call me. So you said you like to express your fandom online, on social media. What are some of the things you do on social media, on your Instagram and YouTube pages to express your fandom?
Probably more through YouTube because I use YouTube more than I do Instagram, if that kind of makes sense. Like I'm more vocal on YouTube than I am on my Instagram because Instagram, you kind of, I post my picture, I put my caption, and then I go. But YouTube kind of forces me to sit down and like edit the video and think about everything I'm saying while also adding my own personal style to it. So before I left for my program, I decided I was going to vlog it because looking up all the little DCP information, I did not see a lot of people who looked like me who would vlog their programs. And if they did, it would either be from a long time ago or they just happened to be vloggers that also just happened to be on their program. But it was never anyone who was specific, like African American and was a DCP vlogger. So I was like, so I need people to answer these questions like, how am I allowed to wear my natural hair at work? And can I do this? Can I do that? Because not everything, I'm not going to get those answers from just anyone. So I started expressing it mostly through YouTube. And then I started my YouTube channel. And then everything just went crazy from there in a good way, not a bad way.
I didn't know much about DCP, which is the Disney College Program,
Correct.
until about this year. And I was like, dang, why didn't I do that? But I mean, I probably wouldn't have been able to anyway. I took a long path in college, so I didn't really have time to take semesters off. But
Go for
um,
it.
I
Yeah.
mean, I think it's a really awesome concept. It's a nice little partnership, at the end of the day. And let's talk a little bit more about it.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So, so when did you participate in the Disney College program?
So I actually just finished up my program in May. I was the spring 2019 program. I originally did my CP. The funny thing is, my mom actually signed me up for my DCP. I had a
Okay.
really, I had a really rough fall semester, and it was just the point where I needed a complete. I just needed to a reset. So her one of her sorority sisters had done the Disney College program when she was in college. My mom remembered visiting her, and then her friend just happened to like mention it again and was like, "I think that Alexa would be perfect for it." My mom told me about it. I kind of needed that extra so she was like, "Here it is. Your phone interviews this day." And I did my not my phone interview. I did my web-based interview, passed that round, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, like this is kind of a big deal." And then after I did pass my web-based interview, I scheduled my phone interview for the next day, did my phone interview, and found out a week later that I got the program.
If they didn't encourage you, would you have known about it at all?
If I had known about it, yes. But if I had not known about it, probably not, which absolutely makes sense. If I had stumbled upon the DCP, I definitely would have applied for the chance to be in Disney World for a semester. But yes, definitely.
Did you know anyone that was in the Disney College program before you applied?
Actually, no, I did not know anyone. So with the DCP, before you will get accepted, they join like Facebook groups. And then that's where you meet like your roommates and other people who have the same role as you, or you find people who live in the same state or city as you. So for me, that's where I met everyone before. And I met my roommate through one of the Facebook groups. And I even had the opportunity to meet her before we both moved to Florida. So that was really cool as well.
Do you choose your roommate or you just happen to find each other?
So it varies because they used to have a rule where you could pick all six of your roommates. But then with our program, they decided to change all the rules and everything. Just you couldn't pick all six people in your room. Now you can only pick three people in your room, and then the other three would be random. So then the two of us just ended up linking and rooming with each other, and then our other four roommates ended up being random.
Were you the only person of color in your group?
Actually, no. And my original roommate group before the whole entire big change of 2019 happened. It was my roommate and I were the only two Black people in our group, and then there was one Hispanic girl. But then when we got placed in our random, it was actually the whole entire apartment was full of people of color. So it was amazing. Like one of our roommates, she had Vietnamese background. The other ones were all the other two more were Hispanic, and then there was one other Black girl. Yes, it was so cool, and especially like we would all switch up who would cook dinner that night, and we would like one day we were having Cuban food, the next day we were having Vietnamese food. It was amazing.
Oh, wow. Oh, so y'all cook and everything. Is it kind of like a dorm, or is it like an apartment? Like y'all was living single, or
I
did
guess
you
you
get
could
that
say,
reference?
yeah, I got
Okay.
that reference.
Okay.
That was my show all last semester. I know.
Okay, cool. No shade. Just like I don't know. I don't know how to.
No, I watch it. I mean, A Different World is the only reason why I go to an HBCU.
Yes.
That was my show. Kind of, I guess you could both compare. Well, everyone I know thought that like DCP housing was just like, oh, this is crazy. Like we're adults. There's so many rules. But coming from a Catholic, historically Black college, I was having the most amount of freedom I've had throughout my whole entire college career. So it's kind of like a mix between both, because our apartment was 6 girls, but there were 2 per room.
Okay.
So my roommate and I that I linked up with before, we had a room and 2 other girls and then 2 other girls. And then it was just a living room in the middle and then a kitchen.
Oh, okay. Nice little situation.
Exactly. It was really, and we had, I think, the newest built one, which was Patterson. So it was really nice and very spacious. It was perfect.
Okay, cool. So you did this past spring, 19. Is this the only season you've done, or have you done others?
This was the only one I've done so far, knock on wood. I would love to come back, but also I need to graduate, so I have to worry about that first, and then I'll worry about going back home to Orlando, as I like to call it now. But so far I've only done one program.
Okay. And so are you allowed to take a break in between, like a gap semester and go back, or is it usually you would do them back to back?
It varies for some people. Like some people will, after a spring program, you can extend and stay 2 more months. Like I have friends who, because with the college program, you have like regular spring or spring advantage. And I was regular spring, so I was there from January to May. And then spring advantage will be there from January to August.
Okay.
So regular spring, if they want, they can extend into July. And then they just like stay the extra months, or if they want after that, they can extend into January. And for advantage, they can extend from August into January. So if you want, you can do that. And I also know people who just went home and then they applied for a fall program, so then they could just like enjoy their summer and come back in late August and just do it all over again.
Right. So they can like relax and not work if possible.
Exactly.
What year of college are you in? You said your junior year?
Yes, I'm with that gap semester, I'm like a few credits short of being a junior, so I'm really going to my 3rd year of college. But because during my college program, since it was my complete gap semester, I decided to take no classes. If I do it again, I probably will take classes next time. I actually have no choice. My mother has told me that explicitly. So I took a gap semester, and then I came home, and actually a week after my program finished, I did study abroad in Martinique. And then after that, I came home and did some internships to make up some of the credits that I missed.
Oh, okay. So that's cool. You're catching up. You don't get it.
Yeah. I'm like 3 credits short, so yeah, we're almost there.
That's like a pottery class. You good.
Exactly.
You on track. And everyone's track is different, you know.
Exactly.
Doing the college program might have been exactly what you needed to, get yourself on the right path. So don't worry about,
definitely,
other people's tracks. Yours is your own.
Exactly.
So you didn't have to take any classes while you're in the DCP?
Well, for some people, I know Disney actually, they used to offer college credited courses, but then something happened where they just either they had to get rid of them or they got rid of them. So now instead we had seminars, and I actually took a communication seminar. And that was another thing a lot of people just don't know about the CPs, of just taking advantage of all the network opportunities. So with this communication seminar I took, it was once a week for a month, and they would have different people who worked within communications for Disney, either it be the parks or like emergency communications, just the different forms of communications they had throughout the company. And they would come in and talk to us. And then afterwards, we would have one-on-one sessions with them and ask them questions or just exchange information. So it was really cool to see that, oh, like there's more than that you can do besides either like just working with theme park communications. Like there's different forms of communications that goes into working for Disney, and somehow you can still be connected to the parks if you would like.
Right, right. And so the Disney College program is park based, correct?
Correct.
So there's no options of like interning in the studios or.
Well, there is, since it's their program. There's their college programs, and there's also their professional internship.
Okay.
And so some people would do like a college program to put their foot in the door, so then they can do professional internship. And those can vary from. I know I have a friend right now who's doing a professional internship that goes along with his major, and I think his major has something to do with like wildlife. So right now he's a wilderness explorer in Animal Kingdom. So along with that, he has to do like the research for all of them, so everyone can get the badges. And some kids do them in like Imagineering, or I've had my eye on. I think there's one in New York that has to do with lobbying for Disney, and then there's also a social media one that's actually located in Florida.
Okay. Oh, awesome. And I think that getting people who already have a love of Disney makes it even better because you're even more invested
Exactly.
in making it grow. So let's see what they're doing there.
Yeah, they're very strategic with it.
So what was your job in the college program?
So I got quick service food and beverage, and everyone, well, when people get their roles, that's like the last thing they want to do, because it's like basically they'll quote unquote call it glamorized fast food, which is not true at all. So I worked at Columbia Harbor House, which is right across from Haunted Mansion. I was wearing the whole bonnet, 1700 get up, and oh god, that was a mess.
I'm sure you rocked it. I'm sure you was looking fly. Right.
It was. I mean, they did call me Bonnet Baddie for a reason. So,
all right, see, there you go.
So I did quick service food and beverage in Liberty Square, and working at Columbia Harbor House went from everything with giving food to the guests or greeting them, sometimes even standing outside answering questions, or just like making their eating experience as magical as it can be, to the point where you're like, wait a minute, I'm eating at a random quick service location, but it still feels like you're having like a character interaction.
So I've been to Columbia Harbor House maybe twice, only because the second time was with my young child, and she had like a bad reaction. So
Oh.
like when I go in there, I think about her like choking on a grape, and I'm like, oh, okay. It was all my fault.
I shouldn't laugh at that, but
so
yeah.
like,
No, I like, before I went there, I did not know what Columbia Harbor House was until we did like a tour, and then we stopped in Columbia, and I was like, oh wait, this is where I'm going to be working. And then afterwards, one of like the best parts is like trying all the food on the menu. And then I was like, okay, wait, this food is actually delicious. And every off day, I somehow found myself in there eating a clam chowder. So Disney did something to my brain that has rewired it, and now I am obsessed with Columbia Harbor House.
I was team lobster roll. They have lobster rolls, right?
Ooh,
Am I
yes,
wrong?
they do.
Oh.
They do. They they do, and the only thing was I just didn't like how their lobster rolls are cold, because I would always go up to Massachusetts in the summer and get like hot lobster rolls there.
Yeah.
So then
Yeah.
like the difference, it was just like I couldn't do it.
Yeah. I mean, I do prefer a warm lobster. Like I think it's during the Food and Wine when in Epcot when America has their grill out and they do the lobster rolls there. Like those are,
What?
yeah, those are on another level. But
Oh, stop! I might have to fly out for that one.
yes, oh yeah, you gotta go. Like they bring the grill out.
Oh my god! Oh god! Yeah, I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to fly out for that
and
one.
it's
That has just been added.
yeah, it's a line, and it's like you gotta wait because as soon as those lobster rolls come out, they all gone. Like people are waiting with their tickets. Like okay, and it's nice and
As they
fresh.
should. Oh
Yeah,
gosh. Oh yeah, that probably smacks.
yeah. I mean, like I'm gonna have to take a break from my veganism just to try it again. um, but yeah, so that was the only location you worked at.
Yes, I did there, and then actually towards the end of my program, I got deployed to ESPN, where because there was a cheerleading competition and they just needed a bunch of people, so they chose me, and I'm happy they chose a bunch of my friends as well at my location, so I wasn't alone.
Okay.
But my last, no, not my last 2 weeks of my program, I was at ESPN. Oh no, actually my last month of my program, I was at ESPN. Except they were nice enough to let me work like my last 3 shifts at Columbia so I could say goodbye to everyone.
Oh, that was nice. What did you do at ESPN?
It was basically kind of the same. It was still quick service food and beverage, except there I was working at their larger quick service location. And it was just with that, helping either restocking fridges and things for them or just giving food to the guest.
Mm-hmm. So on your off days, what would you do?
On
Silly
my off day,
question.
I mean, I took full advantage of those 6 parks that I could enjoy for free with my employee ticket. Was there every day, all day. Even if I got off of work early, I would be in the parks. I always had a change of clothes with me and a hairbrush and some edge control, so I'd be ready to go. I was always in the parks. Was I ever not in the parks? No, some days I would spend one day in the park because you would typically have 2 days back to back off if you were lucky. If not, you would have one day off work and then have another day off. So I would spend one day in the parks and the next day I would like rest and like do laundry or clean the apartment or whatever else needed to be done.
Obviously, you made friends. Did you make like relationships with people that are still going strong? How did you
Yes.
think that experience was with like networking and building relationships?
And I don't know who said this, but someone once said, and I wisely quote, that the Disney college program, the only reason why it's a scam is because it introduces you to your best friends in the entire world and then rips you away from them. So I definitely have to say that I met my best friend in the entire world in my college program. We actually had met one of the Facebook groups by accident, and she asked to be my roommate, but then I had another roommate situation going on. And then later on, she commented on one of my YouTube videos, and we found out that we were going to be working at the same location. But then we still didn't run into each other, and then we ended up getting the same training group when we were training. So then after that, we had all our off days were ended up being the same. So then we just were attached at the hip. Like if I was there, if Alexa was there, Heidi was going to be like 5 feet behind me.
Cool. Awesome. And you guys obviously stay in contact now?
Yes, I actually just talked to her yesterday. And then also my roommate who lived in my room, I had the opportunity of meeting her before my program. And she lives in Maryland, so she's not even that far away from me. So her and I are trying to see each other before I head back to school. But like her and then my friend Heidi, and then I end up making friends with people who I didn't know went to high school with my best friend. And it was just like, I mean, I made so many friends there. I kept in contact with all of them. And I think we're all like trying to go back to Disney and do a little mini reunion. So when people say you meet your best friend on your Disney college program, like you really meet your best friend on your Disney college program.
That's awesome. So, what would you say was your favorite part of being in the program?
I would definitely have to say, as cheesy as this sounds, it was definitely like making magic for guests, because there was just so many times where I could not think of a day that I would be upset while on my program. Like, even if you might have a bad morning, you would come in and then you're smiling and you're talking to guests about like their day or giving them advice, and people are always so nice. And well, at least to me, people are always so nice. So definitely talking to guests, that, and then just experiencing things that I had not experienced before coming to Disney World with my family. Or I also went to Disney on my senior class trip in high school and absolutely hated my time. So being able to actually enjoy the parks and do things that I probably would have not done, or just sometimes just coming in to Magic Kingdom and taking a nap on the hub grass and then going home, were just things that I probably would have never taken advantage of if I had like gone on vacation there compared to living there for 4 months.
Right. That's true. Like, there's things that you can do as a local that you may not necessarily find as a priority if you're just going annually or every couple of years, because you trying to get your
Exactly.
money's worth. And
Exactly.
yeah, the parks end up taking more priority. You don't take advantage of just sitting and watching shows necessarily, or um, being adventurous because you don't want to have a bad experience. You're afraid of that. And then
Exactly.
even like just exploring the resorts, you may not want to do that because you may feel that that's a waste of time because you got to get your money's worth. So
Exactly. Like I would have never probably seen Festival of the Lion King or Finding Nemo the musical if I was not in my program.
wow. Okay, so just so you know, you always have to catch Festival of the Lion King.
I know now. See, the thing is, I've seen The Lion King on Broadway, so nothing will ever top that. But I'm like, okay, I'm like, this I can handle Festival of the Lion King. I think I even cried the first time I saw it. There's an ongoing theme of me crying. I don't know why. Um, but it's just I was like, wow, this is really good. I I was speechless. So Festival of the Lion King is definitely up there now, especially since like Animal Kingdom is my favorite park. I can't think of a time of the week where I was not there. I mean, the park would close at 9. I would get off at work at 7, be there by 8, and enjoy the last hour in the park. Like, I love Animal Kingdom.
Yeah. What's your favorite part of Animal Kingdom?
Ooh, I would definitely. Well, I can't really say I have like a certain like part of it that I enjoy. I've like I really love Flame Tree. So I'll go in there and get my barbecue pulled pork mac and cheese. And then I'll go ride Everest 7 times and then go either watch Festival of the Lion King or Finding Nemo the musical. That would be the only thing I do, and I will be happy with my day. That and Dinosaur. Like I really just go to Animal Kingdom to do the same exact thing over and over again. Never change anything up, and still leave the park completely satisfied. There was one night of my program where my friend and I went because we just wanted to get ice cream, and then we ended up being at like the ice cream cart that was right next to Everest, and we rode the ride 9 times in a row.
Whoa.
And I was like, every single time I was somehow still surprised. But no, Everest is top 10. It definitely goes Everest, Dinosaur. Um, I might get hate for this one. Flight of Passage is gonna have to be after that. I know. I know. It's just Flight of Passage is great. I like the smell, and I like the way that the thing, I guess, vibrates and moves at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the pre-show is so long.
It is. And
Entirely too long.
I mean, I know they're trying to do the turnover.
Exactly.
I don't know. It builds the anticipation because you think you're about to get on and you just go into, another room. But
Exactly. Like at least
Um,
Dinosaur has Felicia Rashad. Like, but
true that.
I don't know what's going. They just have this man saying, for 15 minutes,
Yeah.
and in that
Yeah,
time, I
okay.
could. Oh,
I have taken naps. I got my strategic spots where I like to nap, and that one's one of them because it's air conditioned and it's dark. And like when it's like loading, I just like lean somewhere and close my eyes right
oh,
quick.
that's smart. I might have to do that next time because
Oh God.
me and that 15-minute pre-show, and then I just started tally marking every time that man said and I ran out of fingers.
Very true. But you know, a nap will make it go by faster. Just saying.
Exactly.
Oh boy. Yeah, but I can't miss Festival of the Lion King. It's like a must do. I am team, but I can understand where you're coming from with the weight. It might be a
Exactly.
little too much for some. And yeah, Everest is always a good time. So I'm totally on board with those options. So if you could give advice to anyone that's thinking about going into the program, what advice would you give them?
I would definitely tell them to go in expecting the worst, but make the best of it. So when I went to my program, I had absolutely no expectations because I felt like I had read every horror story about the program that there could possibly be. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make the most of what I can make of it. And I'm just gonna go based off of my own opinion rather than whatever happened to everyone else. Because of course everyone's gonna have their own experiences, and definitely just listening to that advice just made everything 100%
Yeah.
better. Because I know people who hated their program, and then there's people like me on the other end of the scale who absolutely love my program, would not change a single thing about it.
Okay. Yeah, I think that is a good outlook because when you go into anything with expectations, you're gonna get disappointed because
Exactly.
yeah, you can't create you can create enough, but you can't create everything in terms of your experience. Um,
Exactly.
and at the end of the day, it's a contract and a good negotiations where both people come out dissatisfied, and so Disney gets their bargain, and you get your end of the bargain, and it is what it is. You know, you take the best part of that experience, and you know you cherish that.
Exactly. And then especially like I would also add on to that and say come in expecting to work. Cuz a lot of
Mm,
people come and do the Disney College program and they expect that, oh, I'm going to be in Disney World for 4 to 6 months lollygagging and I might only have to work once a week. No, you're going to spend a majority of your time working because that is what you signed up to do. A lot
right.
of people don't realize that. So then when they get there and they realize they actually have to work, they are shocked, which makes absolutely no sense at all. But I definitely want to say come in expecting to work because if you work and they see that you work, they're going to like you. And then even people, a lot of people don't realize, even though it just might be a leader at something like quick service, you don't know who knows who.
Mm,
So then that person can somehow in the end always eventually end up helping you, and then of course just never burning your bridges. Like to this day I keep in contact with most of my leaders or coordinators just because they become your second family while you're there. Like I wanted to come visit my grandmother and my great aunt for their birthday. I wanted to surprise them because I'm very very close to them, and I was talking to one of the ladies who worked with me, and she was a grandmother, and she was talking about how like, oh, she completely understood, and she willingly took my shifts for me,
mm,
so then that way I didn't have to use any off days because I ended up actually not using a lot of off days, and I never called out during my program. So that like situations like that are just another reason why you should make sure that you never burn those bridges and you're just kind to everyone.
right. Network and just be good to people.
Exactly. The golden
Yeah.
rule.
Do you think that you would want to work for Disney after you graduate from college?
Yes, I'm really actually looking into more of the corporate side now. just because I couldn't really see myself like working in the parks like I'd done during my program, and especially like after doing a program before and coming off a degree. So I'm more looking into after college doing a professional internship. So then if they did have a position open on their team, I could just accept it rather than just be like, oh, like you're in college right now, we're going to have to wait. And then that position could be filled in the end. So I'm really looking into doing something with social media for them, or if they have anything on the side of lobbying, so I could use at least something that I'm getting a degree in. So that would be really cool.
Yeah. So you would prefer to stay up north, or relocate to Florida?
Honestly, for the longest time, I thought I was going to graduate from college and relocate back to Philadelphia. But after going to school in a place like Louisiana and realizing that me and thick jackets and the snow we don't get along the way we used to, I might have to be somewhere like Florida.
Yeah. Ain't no joke, and it's only getting worse.
Exactly. And I was like, oh no, I cannot.
Yeah, it's too much.
I'm not built for it like I used to be.
It ain't the same snow. It ain't the same sun, and it ain't the same snow. Like, I don't know what's going on, but global warming.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, I'm like, that's that global warming weather.
Lord, I don't know.
Yeah, it's hitting different. Ooh,
I feel you. I'll be praying, and when it's like November, I'm like, okay, Lord, it's the next few months. You gotta hold me down.
Right, and then for Louisiana, we have the hurricanes.
Yes.
So that's even worse because my campus floods once a week. So they're just
Wow.
like, swim to class. We're not canceling any.
Wow. We gotta figure this out. We gotta stop using these straws.
We gotta start unplugging our chargers when we leave.
Yes. We all need to do our part for real. Cause it's we seeing it. We're seeing it happen.
Exactly. And we don't have that much time.
No. Wow. Okay. I don't want to make you cry. So let's move on. What would you say is your favorite Disney moment or memory?
Oh, okay. So I would definitely have to say the last 24 hours of my program. Like, even though they were very sad, just because after they came and they bumped me out for the last time, I went outside and happily ever after started because they wanted me to like close the restaurant and tell everyone that like, oh, we're closed, like you kind of can't come in. And I just started sobbing. I came outside, I just started sobbing. I couldn't stop crying. Happily ever after, I could see it from behind Haunted Mansion. Couldn't stop crying. All my friends were there, like trying to calm me down. Went home after work and cried. Woke up the next morning and cried. Then just cried for, I think, literally 48 hours. I never stopped crying. It was I probably set a world record or something. But my favorite ride of all time is Carousel of Progress. As weird as that sounds, because it's not really a ride.
What? Okay,
I know.
Okay. We're flexible. Okay, it's cool.
Okay. I love it.
Okay.
So there was one day where I just went on it. I think one week I went on it every single day that week. And it was to the point where I had friends from home contacting me to make sure I wasn't being held against my will or something to that nature. But I just love it. It was I think I've actually memorized the show now. But it was my last night of my program, and I ended up catching the last show of Carousel of Progress. And I already knew I was going to cry, so I had my tissue box in my backpack ready. But when I walked in, the girl said, oh, like, this is our last showing of it. I just started sobbing, and it was just loud and hysterical. You would have thought someone died, and I just gotten the call, but I could not stop crying. And then I pulled out my tissue box. Then everyone around me, who was my other two friends who were crying, had to just stop crying and look at me like, why do you have a tissue box?
Because you stay ready.
I was prepared. But definitely just my last Carousel of Progress ride, and just any time I'm on Carousel of Progress just made my whole entire program. I know it's just weird, but like the song and the jokes and Little Miss Egypt doing the hoochie coochie. It's just a classic. I could honestly write an essay.
I need to read that. Please do. No, I'm
actually
so serious. Like, I need to see like 300 words minimum. And break it down for me, sis. Like, break it
No,
down.
like I actually made a YouTube video dedicated to my love of the Carousel of Progress because I was like, I'm gonna do this, and I'm not joking, and I will. It's just amazing. And then when my mom came and visited me, and I had talked to her so much about this, I think I built an unrealistic hype in her head. So she really tried to enjoy it, but I saw her fall asleep.
Yeah,
But
as she should. That's like, I ain't gonna even lie. That's like my number one spot to take a nap. Like, prime.
I could never. I can't even think of a time where my eyes have even blinked on it. I just want to capture it all.
Oh, I don't even try. It's like a lullaby to me.
It could never be me. That's even the way. From now on, that's how I'm testing people. If I'm engaged, and I'm gonna bring him on the Carousel of Progress, and if he falls asleep, engagement's done. We're not getting married. It's broken. Not happening. Yes.
You know what? You need to do that. I fully support it. And I'm gonna have to find that video, and I'm gonna link it in the show notes so people can understand. Because I can't vouch for that. But you know, to each his own. Do you, boo boo? It's cool. Okay, that's the very first on Afros and Pixie Dust. Okay.
No, yes, I'm like I can only think of probably like 3 people who enjoy the Carousel of Progress, and most of the time it's just because either I put them onto it, or they found me because I also enjoyed Carousel of Progress as much as them.
Okay, you got a little support group.
Yes, little cop stands.
Oh my gosh, cop! Oh Lord. Okay. So we're almost wrapping up, but I have a few more questions.
Okay.
What is one thing about yourself that you would like everyone to know?
Ooh, oh my goodness. That's a good one. Besides being the biggest Carousel of Progress fan known to mankind, actually, that's it right there. I'm the biggest Carousel of Progress fan known to mankind. When Disney throws Disney weddings, I don't want it in front of the castle. I want it in front of Carousel of Progress while it's going on. And if anyone has beef with Carousel of Progress, they can kindly come talk to me. That's not it.
Okay. I can see it now though. Like, everyone that came to the wedding is gonna like sit and then like rotate part of the wedding. Will just progress to each scene.
It'll go right along with the decades.
Yeah.
I have an ongoing joke that I was going to theme my house to the Carousel of Progress, but I when I told my mother that and she got off the ride, she's like, "Okay, this is where I draw the line."
Yeah, I agree with your mom. Okay, Queen of the Carousel of Progress. That's you. I don't think anyone will contest. So you have it.
And I rightfully sit on my throne.
Yes. So, Alexa, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for taking the time out and talk to me about the Disney College program. I know a lot of people are excited to hear about it and to learn more about it. And if they want to get to know more about you, where could they find you?
If they want to see more of my interesting looking face, I am found on Instagram at Photos by Alexa, and then YouTube. My YouTube handle is Alexa and the Vlog, which is kind of like a fun little play on the Princess and the Frog. So they can check me out there. And I also just want to say thank you for having me as well.
Oh, it was my pleasure. I adore you, and I don't even know you. So but now I know you a little bit more. So thank you again. I really appreciate it. And I cannot wait to catch you in the parks. Not a carousel, though.
If I'm not at carousel, I'm most likely at a Daisy Duck meet and greet. So one of those two places you can find me.
All right, cool. We're going to go for option 2. But thank you again. And thanks.
Thank you so much for having me again.
Awesome. You've just heard my conversation with Alexa. If you are a current college student or if you know of one, the DCP is definitely an opportunity that they should look into. There are so many different areas of the Walt Disney Company that college students are allowed to intern in that they most likely will find something that suits them and their major. Be sure to follow Alexa on Instagram and YouTube to learn more about her and her experience in the DCP and just to get a load of her humor. And the next time I ride the Carousel of Progress, I will try to keep my eyes open, but I ain't making no promises. The POC-owned small business for this episode is Clever Girl Craftings. It is an Etsy shop that is owned by Lydia Daly that specializes in Disney-inspired pop sockets, badge reels, and more. Go check out her stuff at etsy.com/shop/clevergirlcraftings. And y'all, the D23 Expo is coming soon. It is next week. If you will be in Anaheim or in the Anaheim area, please come out. I would love to meet you all. This is our first official meetup, and it's going to be a fun time. The D23 meetup will be on Friday, August 23rd at 6 p.m. at the House of Blues in Anaheim. It is very close to the Anaheim Convention Center, like I've been saying every episode. So if your plans are to stay overnight to get into them panels, you can definitely come nourish yourself, chill for a bit. We will pat you on your back and send you on your way to go camp out so you can be the first to know all the news that is coming in the world that is Disney. I'm planning to go to sleep. If you are planning to come to the meetup and you haven't done it yet, please RSVP at my website, afrosandpixiedust.com/events. And I can't wait to see you all there. And as always, if you've enjoyed what you've heard, please be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and share this podcast with all of your friends. And also be sure to join the Afros and Pixie Dust Facebook group so we can chat more about the DCP. So until next time, never stop deep conditioning or pursuing your happiness.